everyone.
Hi there.
So today, Sarah and I are going to talk to you about something called oud, which has been quite an interesting ingredient in perfumery history and tends to be quite popular nowadays. But what is it? We've had a couple of comments, so thank you for that on our videos about oud, and some of you are wearing oud fragrances already. Some of you might like to try ouds, so we thought we'd demystify oud wood.
Yes. So we're going to start with what is oud, because it's talked about quite a lot now in perfumery and in Western perfumery. And sometimes you might think, what is it? Is it a wood? I don't understand. So it is a wood. It comes
of sorts.
Yeah, because it's not just a wood. It comes originally, the wood comes from the Agarwood tree, which is a tree that grows naturally in Southeast Asia. It's quite a skinny little tree, and thousands of years ago, someone discovered, don't even ask me how this happened.
In fact, don't ask us how a lot of the perfumery ingredients that they use were discovered.
It's weird. But basically, someone discovered that this tree would occasionally get infected with a kind of fungus parasite up the middle of the tree. And it would turn the tree black in the centre. And it would take many years for this to happen. Then if you chop the tree down and you cut up the wood into chips, you could burn those chips for this amazing woody and also animalic, because of the fungus parasite element, smell. Really pungent and amazing. So it is a wood, but it's different.
It's very, very different, because to all intents and purposes it doesn't smell like sandalwood or cedarwood or any of these other very familiar woods. It smells very pungent, and almost dirty.
Like skin.
You
know how it's good sometimes when someone smells sweaty, it's can be kind of attractive in a weird way.
In a weird way,
it's that kind of smell.
It's pheromonal. I think that's what we're going with this. And to different people, it actually smells quite different. So to some, they'll really pick up on that kind of rotten wood smell, which is essentially what it is. But it's also sort of dark and mysterious and intriguing, and almost something that you can't quite, especially for our Western noses, you can't quite put your finger on. It's a very interesting ingredient. And because of the rarity of it and the fact that it takes a long, long time for the oud, the resinous wood, to appear in the tree, it's very expensive. I think it's often referred to as liquid gold in the perfumery industry.
And you'll find that some fragrances, Western fragrances, use natural oud, which tend to be the very expensive ones, but some will use a synthetic like recreation of the smell oud, because obviously it's not. The trees are very rare, and it's very rare that they get infected, but now they will actually farm the trees and actually inject them with the parasite to make the oud come about. So
I always think poor trees at that.
But we could go in a whole conversation about sustainability in perfume, but there is a lot of work in sustainability and in supporting the farmers and the workers in these countries to produce these ingredients like oud. But maybe we should tell you a little bit about how it's
history.
The history of where it's come from.
Because it came from the Middle East, really. That it was the Arabic culture that made this ingredient really popular. And actually, we were lucky enough to have a training session on this not that long ago, and see something called a bakur, which was really interesting.
Amazing. Yeah, it's like a little burner. So it's kind of, like we would have an oil burner, but it's for burning the chips, the oud chips. And then obviously what they would do in the Middle Eastern culture is to waft the smoke and the scent from this into their robes. So literally every part of them is perfumed with this smell. So if you go to like Dubai or anywhere like that, and now actually large parts of London, because it's a huge Middle Eastern community, you get that really pungent smell.
No, that's true. In fact, so one of the fragrances that I wanted to share with you today, which has oud in it, which is sort of made more for our Western noses, because let's face it, actually oud can be challenging to our sort of untrained nose in the West. So a lot of perfumery houses now have kind of looked at blending oud as an ingredient with other more maybe palatable ingredients like rose, for example, or maybe pepper to give it a sparkle. So one of these ones that I want to share with you the story is quite nice behind it, because it's the story of Annick Goutal. So she's a beautiful fragrance house, this one. And there is a fragrance here called 1001 Ouds. Look at that bottle, stunning. It's from the Absolu collection from Annick Goutal. And the story, just thinking about the Middle East, is that back in the 80s, when this lady Annick Goutal was making her perfumes, she had a shop in Paris, and this Arabian princess came in to see her and buy her rose fragrances in Paris. And Annick realised that this Arabian princess always smelled this beautiful, really mysterious, sort of woody, sexy ingredient, which turned out to be oud. And the Arabian princess came to Annick's apartment, and she gave her a little vial of pure oud oil, and that was kind of the starting point for her to say, oh, I'd like to make a fragrance about oud. But back in the 80s, I think we probably weren't ready for it.
No. Even 5 years ago, a lot of people were not ready for it.
Exactly. So what Annick did is she sort of made this formula, but it's been kept back in the house until just recently. I actually don't. When did this launch, Sarah?
Last summer, I want to say.
Year?
Yeah.
Yeah, so oud is perfect for now, for this fragrance, because most people are familiar of the ingredients, so it won't smell so different to their noses. Let's have a spray. So this one, there we go. On first spritz, would you like to?
Thank you.
On first spritz, what you get with this actually is more sort of sparkling peppery notes and rose than oud. I don't know if you agree with that, because actually for me it's not sort of so deep and dark and sort of sticky and pungent at first, because actually you've got that lovely pepper note that really lifts the whole conversation. Composition even.
That one.
That word. And that just really helps you it helps the oud start settling down your skin. What's lovely about this, I find, is that it is actually very wearable and yet still smells oriental and spicy and mysterious, which is why I like oud.
It's beautiful. I really like it. Sometimes I forget, like, oud can be so different in so many different fragrances. So I've got another one, which is one of my favourites to show you, which is very different to this. So the one that I wanted to show is by a brand called Terry de Gunzburg, and it is called Terryfic Oud. If you get the play on her name there with the Terry. Terry de Gunzburg is a makeup artist. She has her own makeup brand called By Terry, but she also has a fragrance collection. And this was the first fragrance that she did featuring oud. There is actually now a whole collection. What you'll notice is that it's got the gold packaging. Often oud fragrances have gold packaging because, like we were saying, it's got liquid gold.
And it's opulent. You know, that's the other thing. It's rich, it's opulent, it's expensive ingredients. So gold sort of produces those images in
luxury.
Your mind.
So I love this because for me it's one of the best balanced ouds for Western taste.
The colour of that.
Yeah, it's so nice.
The juice is amazing. It really kind of speaks of richness. Sorry, I interrupted.
I don't like ouds that are too animalic, too dirty smelling. I like something that's a bit more feminine. The great thing about this is it has a lot of berries, red berries in the top notes, so like juicy raspberry, gives you that kind of fresh, uplifting quality. And then it's got a lot of rose. So the Annick Goutal had some rose, but this is much more. Like Terry loves rose, so she does a lot of rose fragrances anyway, and it blends so well with the oud in this that I just love it so much. I really love it. And I forget how nice it is, and it could be for a man or for a woman, because rose and oud really can be.
I think that's a good point. I think that, you know, in perfumery you don't have to stick to pour femme or pour homme.
No.
And oud is worn, certainly in the Middle East, it's worn by men and women. Roses are worn by men and women. You know, it's not so much of a male-female rule. And I think that in general I like that wear what suits you, not just what's labelled man or women.
Exactly. If you like it, you wear it. You know, it's like with fashion. If you like it, just wear it. You know, it's about showing off your personality.
Exactly right. So I hope that cleared up some of the mystery behind the ingredient of oud. Let us know what you think of ouds. Let us know what you're wearing and what you're trying. and please subscribe.
Yes, and give us a little thumbs up on our video, and then we'll know that you like these kind of ingredients-based ones, and we might do some in the future, like we could do rose fragrances or orange blossom fragrances or something. So let us know that you like it. Thanks very much for watching.
Bye.
Bye.